Hello you guys, what is up? We are doing a little something different today. We're breaking up the vlogs because I feel like all I've been doing is vlogging, and you know, that's kind of my style, so it kind of works. But also I just wanted to sit down, slow down for a bit, and just kind of like have a heart-to-heart chit chat with you guys, because I feel like, you know, I have new viewers who might not know that much about me, and I'm kind of just like jumping into vlogging and you're like, who are you? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. Or I just feel like I haven't like caught up with you, like you've been seeing these big transitions of me starting work and getting used to New York and all that, but I haven't like sat down and just checked in like, how's it going? It just felt right. It felt like the right time to do a little Q&A. I haven't done one in a while. I think I did one literally the week I moved here, and about like looking for an apartment and stuff, but I wanted to kind of expand that. I've been settled into New York for 3 months. I moved in July 29th to this apartment, so it'll be exactly 3 months, maybe the day you see this actually, because I think I want to upload it on Tuesday. So happy 3 months of living in New York to me. This is crazy. So I asked on my Fit Insta, which I also kind of use for other YouTube stuff too, so I'll ask for questions for Q&As on there. It's at Kristee Better Fit if you want to follow it. Do you see yourself staying in NYC as a permanent home or moving somewhere else? And honestly, I've had this like weird feeling my whole life basically that everywhere I've lived has been temporary. I mean, obviously I grew up in Oregon for 18 years, so I was never like a 7-year-old like, this is only temporary. Everywhere I've lived since I'm like college, I went to college, I didn't see myself like being in California long term, and then I moved to DC, and honestly I thought that that was going to be like it for me. But I don't know, I've always had like eating away in the back of my mind like, oh, I need to go to New York, like I'd love to live there, which I've talked about before. And then I moved here, and I still don't know. I don't know if I see myself here like forever. I've just never been anywhere I was like, I'm gonna settle down here. But I think that's just my personality type. Like, I don't see myself going back to Oregon. I don't know, I guess it's hard to make decisions for yourself in the future when you don't know what's going to change between now and then too. So I can't sit here and say like, oh, I'm definitely gonna like raise my family in, you know, Kentucky. You know, I definitely see myself in New York for the near future, but que sera, sera. Do you ever get lonely living by yourself in such a big city? Okay, I think this is such an important topic to touch on because so many people I feel like can relate to this. Everyone honestly in life I feel like feels lonely from time to time, not just in the sense of like, oh, I'm like single, but in the sense of just maybe you're surrounded by people but you just feel like isolated somehow, and you might not feel like anyone's like really, you're not connecting with people on a deeper level and having like deep conversations that share how you're really feeling or things like that. Honestly, I've been talking to people about it recently when they're asking like, oh, how's living alone? I guess I can answer it as this kind of question too, but honestly I love living alone. There has not been one single day or moment where I'm like, oh man, like I miss having a roommate, or like, oh my god, I'm scared to be alone right now, or anything like that. I genuinely, but that's just like how I am as a person, I genuinely love having alone time when it's balanced with a lot of social being around people. And I think that's what's great about especially being in New York. You are never alone when you're outside. Like, you're walking down the street and there's 20,000 other people. I work all day, I'm surrounded by people, always talking to people. And you know, when I hang out with my friends after or go to workout classes, I'm surrounded by people. Even if they're strangers, you're still always surrounded by people on the subway, everywhere you go, because there's just so many people here. So it's nice to just come home and have a place where I genuinely can just be by myself and relax and take a breather. Generally, loneliness, like I think it's so important to just talk about it. It's important to just have deep conversations with your friends, because that can make you feel so much less alone. I don't know, I feel like you can like go hang out and go shopping with your friends and have like superficial conversations, and at the end of the day you still kind of feel like lonely because you're not connecting on a deeper level with people. And I think that's what is like the root cause of loneliness. And so it's important to just like get in touch with that and think, what do I need? What do I need to get off my chest? Like, what can I talk about with this person? That's like, even just talking about with them, like, oh yeah, I felt like so lonely the other day. Like, people just get it, and like everyone feels that. I feel like that sometimes, especially living in DC. I feel like here it's been a lot better for me, but living in DC, I just feel like I felt that a lot more somehow. Maybe because I didn't really have that many close friends where I like really connected with them on that deeper level there. And I don't know, that just makes a big difference for me. It's just making an effort to like go beyond superficial conversations with people, but that's just me. And honestly, loneliness like manifests in different ways. Are there a lot of other contract type workers at UNICEF, or mostly full-time? I genuinely don't know the like actual structure of every single position, and I am only in the Department of Communication. There's definitely more than I expected, like contractors, consultants, that kind of thing. My second week, this girl who I say girl, but you know, full-grown woman who's working USF. She had come back from like traveling a mission trip, whatever, in country, and then I met her and she was like, wow, I feel like every time I come back there's like someone new or someone gone. And I just think it's like a pretty fast moving culture in that way. Not the entire organization, and I'm not speaking for them. That same week, like this guy who had been sitting next to me, he was like packing up his stuff, and people are like, oh, are you going on a trip or whatever, because people like travel for the job a lot. And he was like, nope, they didn't renew my contract, and he was just like done. Not all of them, but more than I expected. I'll just say that. If you don't know, if you're new or whatever, I feel like I say it in most of my like working vlogs and stuff, but I'm working temporary position at UNICEF until the end of December doing advocacy, so communications. Genuine question, why don't you have a toaster? Honestly, people have asked this and I just don't need it. Like, I can do the things that it does on the stove, in my air fryer, whatever, and I just don't have the counter space to accommodate unnecessary equipment. Maybe if I had a bigger kitchen, I would get like a little toaster, but oh well. A lot of people are asking if I'm doing Vlogmas. I don't know, I've been back and forth. I don't know. Okay, everyone's probably like, what? Like, why are you hesitating? Vlogmas has been like a very important staple in my life for like 5 years or something crazy like that. And if you're unfamiliar, it's just vlogging every day in December until Christmas. The problem is the editing every single day. And I do have an editor now that I hired, but I don't want to put that on her. Like, she has a life. So I don't know, I'm thinking I might do like a modified Vlogmas where I edit half of them. I should talk to her about this, but I might like do a couple days at a time, because I honestly am like working full time and it's not gonna be that much variation day to day. I might do like every other day vlogs instead of everyday vlogs, and then I'll edit half of those and she'll edit half of those or something like that. I don't know. I definitely do want to do some sort of Vlogmas, and I definitely will be vlogging as much New York City Christmas shenanigans as possible. It might just be a little different this year. We'll see. It's just so hard to be living your entire life and then vlogging every second of it. Not every second of it, but most of it every day, and then editing that night to upload the next morning. Like, it's a lot. So we'll see. How often are you able to go to the gym now that you're working so much? Love you. Love you too, girl. It's definitely been a challenge. Still getting the hang of it, really. I want to try this coming week to actually work out before work one of the days and see how I like that. It's been about, I'd say, maybe 4 times a week that I've been getting to the gym. 3 or 4. Ideally, in a perfect world, I'd work out 5 days a week. I also love doing social things in the evenings too, like hanging out with friends, and there's so much to do in New York, so it's easy to get distracted instead of just like going to work, going to the gym, going home, eating dinner, sleeping. Like, I don't want to do that every day. Like, I kind of like to make workouts into a social thing when I can, like going with my friends to SoulCycle or whatnot. How long is your commute to work? Do you chill, work, or do anything with that time? It takes me about like 45 minutes to 50 minutes to go from my apartment through the door at work. And that sounds like a long time, but for me it doesn't feel that long, because, you know, I'm walking, taking a train to Grand Central to walking, so it's the only time that I'm like sitting on the train for one long stretch of time is probably like 25 or 30 minutes. And usually it's pretty busy, so I'll be like standing, so it's not as conducive to reading a book or something. So usually I just kind of like take the time to just like relax, not think about anything. I don't do work on the train or anything. I usually just listen to music or listen to podcasts, honestly. I really like listening to very chill music in the mornings, like John Mayer kind of stuff. Or I'll listen to podcasts if I feel like it, if I want to like soak in some knowledge for the day. Just depends on my mood. When I lived in DC, I was pretty much reading things for classes when I was going to class from work on the metro, but here I just kind of take the time to relax. A lot of people asking about like my fitness goals and how I've been feeling about fitness, which I do want to address that in my next vlog, so I'm going to kind of sit down and focus more on that in that video, so stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, you should be. What are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. If you're still looking at my face instead of clicking subscribe, I'm just going to assume that you already are subscribed. But I want to focus more on being more mindful about building healthy snacking habits. That's like my main thing, I think. I'd much rather be like more mindful about my food and then use working out and exercise as kind of a release that I don't have to overthink. What's your favorite article of clothing ever? I don't know about one specific piece necessarily. I made this recent discovery not discovery, but realization that I've never really thought of myself, and obviously like you're gonna use this with your own frame of reference, so a ton of people are probably like, but I've never thought of myself as a very materialistic person. A lot of girls love investing in designer handbags or really nice shoes, or just get really excited about like their heel collection or just things like that. And not even in the sense that like I would spend $500 on one, but I've realized that my thing is jackets and coats. I love them. I would wear the most plain outfits, just like jeans and a t-shirt, but get so excited about like having a new really cute coat to put over it. I think that's my thing, my favorite accessory, clothing piece, article, if you will. When I was in 4th grade, I really loved the limited 2 shirts that came with the little glove sleeves that you could wear with them. A lot of people are asking like what the next step is and if I've been looking for a job, applying to new jobs already, because I am only at UNICEF till the end of December, and I don't expect to be renewed there just because of the nature of my work. Like it's focused on like this specific time period. I do, you know, essentially want to move towards more policy stuff if I can. I'm getting like newsletters inside of different UN agencies that are hiring positions. I've been keeping my eyes open. I haven't really started any hard applications. I think going into November I'm definitely going to. Also, I don't think I'm going to be in as much of a rush to get a job right after this one ends. I definitely just want it to be something that I'm really excited about and want to like stay in for a long time. Maybe I've been seeing ones in DC that I'm just like so excited about, that are so perfect, but I'm like, no, I'm in New York. Someone says, how did you like doing the podcast and would you start your own? If you guys listened to the podcast I did with Jordan Rebecca for her podcast Bitchwork, it was really fun. I liked it a lot. I was nervous just because of the content. Like I didn't feel like I was qualified to give advice, and it was about kind of career path stuff. But I really liked the whole concept of just sitting down and having like a real conversation with someone and just recording it to upload for the world. And I feel like you don't really get that in depth. Like, yeah, we can have heart-to-heart chats on YouTube, but it's different when you're just sitting down and talking and there's no camera. You're not worried about like what the presentation is like. You're just talking and like being real. I feel like you can get a lot more, I don't know, you can just get a lot more in depth on any topic in a podcast. My best friend's here and I have like kind of talked about podcasts before, and I like the idea of having it, but I don't know, I feel like there's just so much noise in the podcast world that I don't know if I'd actually have anything of value to add to the mix. Like, I don't want to just have a podcast where me and Sierra just like talk about our lives for 40 minutes every week. Like I feel like I'd want to have some sort of more purpose or structure than that. So I don't even know if that's gonna happen. I probably shouldn't even say anything because it's not even close to being in the works. It was just an idea. Do you still talk to Orly? Is she going to visit you in New York? I hope she does. I talk to her all the time. We text each other like the randomest things, and we're always, you know, that one friend where like you won't have, like you maybe haven't caught up in a FaceTime in a couple weeks, like you haven't had time, but you just routinely just send each other memes on Twitter every single day. Still one of my best friends. We do talk all the time, and I hope we can find a time for her to visit me in New York. We keep talking about it because she really wants to, and I know that I would love if she could. Last question that I'm gonna answer, and the one that I got by far the most in this Q&A. Are you dating anyone, and what is the New York dating scene like? Honestly, I feel like I haven't really put much effort into it here. It takes time to carve out time where you could be hanging out with your friends to like go on a date with some guy that you may or may not even like. I feel like in New York in general, it's just like such a mess because there's so many people, and the whole culture of like ghosting and being like very half in, like a quarter in, is so prevalent here, just because I think it is one of the most densely populated cities. Just with the sheer amount of people, I feel like it definitely breeds that sort of like something better is coming culture for a lot of people. And I don't know, like I don't think it's healthy. Honestly, I haven't really gone on like that many dates. I've gone out a few times. I don't want to waste my time, and I feel like I have wasted my time in the past, sustained things with people for longer than I should have, for like knowing at the beginning like it wasn't gonna be. Regrets and mistakes, their memories made. The first guy I went out with when I moved here, he was fine. We laughed, like I had a good time, but I knew that like I wasn't super interested. I got in my like shared Uber ride from there, and there was this like super drunk guy in the back of the Uber, and he goes, "Are you gonna text him?" And I was like, I don't know. And the guy just goes, "Welcome to New York." Hard to actually make solid connections with people, and I don't know, maybe I just need to put myself in different environments to meet new people. Okay, I think that's the last question I'm gonna answer. I don't even think I answered it that well, But let me know what your dating horror stories or anything like that are about living in New York, or advice you have, because I don't really know what the hell is going on. Thanks for watching this little Q&A video. I'm so glad we got to sit down and have a little heart-to-heart chat. My camera's gonna run out of space, so I'm gonna go and edit this, and I will see you guys in my next vlog very soon from this weekend.